All right, everybody, we're back here with another episode here of the Big Break podcast covering Big Ten basketball and football. Just with me today is Corey and Drew. How are you guys doing this fine Sunday morning? Corey, how you doing? Love to hear it. Love to hear it, guys. Love to hear it. Well, let's dive right into it. We titled the show "The Good, the Bad, the Ugly." Let's dive right into it. What was the good of the Big Ten this first weekend of the NCAA tournament, Corey? Drew, your thoughts on what went well? What was the good of the Big Ten here this year, of the start of this first weekend? Yeah, the wheels fell off for sure after that. I mean, Maryland had a great win against West Virginia. I personally did not think that they were going to win that, so that was a good thing in my opinion. To see Maryland get a big win. Iowa had a tough loss, but Indiana came back strong with 11-point win over MAC champion Kent State, which was good. Um, Illinois fought hard, I can say, I guess. Northwestern beating Boise State, I think, was really good for that program, getting an NCAA win under their belts down there in Northwestern, and it's only going to build to the future of that program. Because now, hey, this is kind of the expectation for the Northwestern Wildcats, right? A new expectation, making the tournament, winning a game. Now let's, try to make it a little further than we did last time. Michigan State obviously a highlight with a 10-point win over future Big Ten team USC. So that to me that was a matchup I was had my eye on, and I know I said it last week as well. To keep an eye on that as that was a future Big Ten matchup. Um, Drew, what was the bad for you out of this Not the ugly, not the ugliest, just the bad. What was the bad from this first weekend? Absolutely. Off of that note right there, you know what I was thinking about Corey last night during that Northwestern UCLA game. You know what I was waiting for? I was like, please let Northwestern, fingers crossed, be on the other end of a Mick Cronin meltdown in the NCAA tournament. I was just waiting for it to happen, and it didn't. But Drew, go ahead here with your bad. Yes, sir, Corey. Mick Cronin. Absolutely. I'm right there with you guys on all the bad. So let's get to it. Let's get to the ugly. Drew, go ahead. Oof. Wow. Oof. That's a tough loss. That's a tough loss. Well, it's the NIT. Nobody cares about the NIT. It was something else to see on TV for the second time ever. A 16 seed beating a one. Unfortunately, it was the Big Ten this time on the other end and not an ACC team like Virginia. But it was something to see, and I like history being made. You know, this is part of why the NCAA tournament is one of the greatest tournaments in sports because, as we now know, anything can happen. And you have to play your best game every single game if you want to win the national championship, right? I don't think there is a such thing as a cakewalk anymore or a cupcake team in these tournaments. Um, Drew, you were there. You were there. You saw it live. We're gonna go to you. Go ahead and tell us what you saw play out through that game and how exciting it may have been to be in that stadium or the arena for that. Always. Yeah. So what was it? What was your feeling throughout the entire game? Were you sitting there like, "Oh my God, they may fucking do this"? Like, is that what you were? Was that like the feeling in the arena? Like, holy shit, they may do this. Got to. Definitely. Corey, your thoughts? Not at all. I'm gonna get back to that Chris Painter or Matt Painter maybe losing his job comment here in a moment, or the Purdue faithful calling for his head. What I don't understand, and as I was watching that game, was how do you not? Why are your guards chest passing and bounce passing passes into your 7'5" center when the opposing team doesn't have a guy on their team who's like 6'10"? Like, let's just be honest with ourselves. All you have to do is lob the ball up to him. He's going to stick his hand up there and he's going to grab it because nobody can reach his height. And even if he has to jump, he's going to get the ball. It's it's I don't even know what to. I mean, it's just logic. You know what I mean? Like, why are you trying to bounce past balls where the defenders can easily get them or chest pass it into them? That doesn't make any sense to me. And not only that, Corey and I, we were talking before earlier this morning, and the one thing that he said, he goes, we were taught since third grade how to beat a zone. You pass in, kick the ball out, and drive, right? Well, if you have the tallest player on the court and nobody's even close to him, lob the ball up to him and he can see the entire court. He's gonna find the open man, especially when he's triple teamed. There's two other guys open. Yeah. And not only that, when he it was like in the first half, they went on like a 15 or something like 2 run to get the lead and 80 had 13 of those 15 points. How do you not just lob it into him and let him just hook it or dunk it right over the guy every time? It's going to happen. And they could have ridden that entire thing with literally all your guards just lobbing it in, and they could have dealt with that the entire time. And they could have won that game. Absolutely. Drew, what was the I saw it on TV and I want to know like if you saw this live or if it was really apparent live. When I saw FDU go up for rebounds, it wasn't just one guy going up for that rebound. It looked like there was like 3 or 4 guys around that rim ready to grab that rebound or poke it free from Edie when he was coming down with it or something. Is that I mean, did you see that effort and was that effort apparent live? They definitely do. I mean, I was just looking at some stats right here. The best player in the country had 11 shots, the most on his team. Would you expect him to have the most shots on his team, right? Or close to it. Um, then I look up here at FDU. Their one of their guards, their top scorer, had 17 shots compared to 80's 11. Now, my philosophy would be my best player needs to get more looks than their best player, right? And that typically, and if your best player's Zach Edey at 7'5" and their best player's at 6'8", you assume he's going to win that battle, and they didn't. Now, I was looking at all the Purdue forums, the groups on Facebook. Everybody is calling for Painter's head. My question is, if you do move on from him from his disastrous NCAA appearances so far, who do you get that's better? Absolutely, absolutely. Drew, what do you think the chances of Edie coming back are? Or a lot, because he's probably the most likely one out of that entire bunch that has a chance to play in the league. Right. And surprising at 7-4. I was just gonna say, Purdue fans, I know you're upset right now, but just remember this happened to Virginia. The next year they came back and won it all. Um, any final thoughts on the ugly of this NCAA tournament so far for the Big Ten guys? Absolutely. Speaking of that, Corey, who is this? Could the Hoosiers or Michigan State, the Sparty, be the Big Ten saving grace here in this tournament? Drew, I think Marquette, Michigan State's going to be a close game. Um, believe Indiana's probably going to edge out Miami today too. But I do have to say I'm leaning Marquette over Sparty myself, which is unfortunate because we could be down to one Big Ten team left after this weekend fighting for us. And who it's better than zero. Yeah, better than zero, better than zero. You know, I want to move away from basketball a little bit here today, guys. Um, let's talk some football. Let's talk some positive things let's talk about something positive here because there's not a lot of positive basketball things going on for the Big Ten. Um, what are you guys most looking forward to coming out of spring ball here in a couple weeks? Because spring practices have just started. We're in the full swing of spring ball. We're going to be moving into spring games here coming in the first weekend of April. I know Ohio State has theirs. Corey, I know Michigan probably has theirs that right around that same day, as well. What are you guys looking forward to most coming out of spring, or gearing up for this 2023 college football season? Absolutely. Drew, your reaction to that? And I can't believe he left after taking them to the Big Ten championship. I get it. I get it. But you had a very good thing going there in Purdue. You're finally leveling them up, at least in that side of the division of the Big Ten. But then when you hire Matt Rule, at Nebraska, Wisconsin hires Luke Fickle, you're sitting here thinking, okay, well now I gotta wait till these guys leave to possibly bring Purdue back. Because those guys are immediately those two coaching hires to me immediately level up their programs from where they were, just based off of the new culture and attitude that you're going to have in Nebraska and Wisconsin. That's just my opinion. Would you guys agree? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm just saying that when you look at where Nebraska was under Scott Frost, and now you're taking it to Matt Rule's new tenure there, I think it's going to be a difference in maybe not going 4-8, but now you're going 8-4 your first season. You're not gonna maybe not make the Big Ten championship, but you're gonna be in a bowl game, in my opinion. Um, and I think what's now the one thing I'm interested in to see what Luke Fickle does. There used to be this thing in the Big Ten where there is a wall literally around Wisconsin, right? Where if you were an offensive lineman, you were not leaving the state of Wisconsin and you were going to be a Badger. Do you think Luke Fickle brings that back to Wisconsin football? Because here recently, I know Ohio State's been able to poach a couple Big Ten guys out of, or a couple big offensive linemen out of Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin, to come to Columbus. I know Michigan, heavily recruited a couple guys, offensive linemen out of there. Penn State then, started to move. James Franklin started to move his nose into to those waters, his feet into those waters, and just say, hey, we're looking at signing a few of you guys. Do you think Luke gets back to that whole mentality of you're a Wisconsin guy, you're staying here? Corey, your thoughts? Right, right. Absolutely. There's two major battles that are happening in spring ball, in my opinion, this year. Two major battles. You have, and unfortunately, they're at the two biggest school. Fortunately, they are at the two biggest schools in the Big Ten. You have a quarterback battle going on right now with Devin Brown and Kyle McCord at Ohio State, and then you also have a running back battle going to be happening this spring as well with Blake Corum and Edwards at Michigan. Um, you guys could go either way here. I don't, whichever one you want to start with. Who do you look for winning those two battles coming out of spring going into summer camps? Who do you think is going to have the edge? We're not winning the battle, but who do you think is going to have the edge in those battles going into summer camp and maybe into starting the season? Right. Obviously. Who do you think is going to be like the featured back, I guess you would say then, in Michigan's offense? Who do you think is going to be more featured as a back? Blake Corum, okay. Corey? Yeah, but so so you're going back to the adage of you should not lose your job due to an injury then. Knowing what, but I'm just saying like what you saw. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think you Michigan as a team needs both of them on the field and healthy, right? To be able to compete and absolutely, maybe potentially win a national championship. I think you they need both of them on the field. Um, but how do you deny Donovan Edwards that right to maybe be the starter after what he, proved that he can do last season when Blake Corum is out? Absolutely. Drew, who do you think is gonna come out of the Ohio State quarterback battle? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Not bad. Wha- I would say that is night and day difference, in my opinion. Corey, I want to get your thoughts on that on the quarterback battle going here on in Columbus. Absolutely. The only thing that I think it will come down to is, like you guys mentioned, both is the being in the program for a long time. Kyle McCord's been there for a couple years now. Devin Brown, going into his sophomore year, redshirted last year. The only way I think Devin jumps Kyle for the job is if for some reason Devin Brown has this Peyton Manning understanding of offenses or a Tom Brady understanding of offenses, where they read a playbook, they see everything, and that just translates to the field in real time like you've never seen in your life. And I say that because Ryan Day has shown us time and time again, he is only looking in that quarterback room to who's staying the longest, who's been in my program, who understands this offense the best. and who's, the most capable to lead it, because it is a complicated offense that he runs in Columbus. It's a very all the different passing concepts, the blocking concepts for the offensive line, your check downs, your reads. It is all complicated, and you definitely need a couple years in that system, running it maybe in practices and everything, to fully understand what is going on. To be able to run it efficiently, like we've seen in Columbus the past few years out of Justin Fields and C.J. Stroud. So I would definitely 100% give the nod to Kyle McCord in that. Another thing is, I think gives him a bump over Devin Brown is he played in high school with the best receiver in the country. Who threw Marv Harrison Jr. balls in high school? Kyle McCord. Literally, you know what I mean? So, not only the connection, but I mean, you recruited Marv based off of what he can do. Well, I mean, who was able to get him the ball? Oh, the quarterback. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you're wide receivers are only as good as their quarterbacks are, in my opinion. As a guy throwing them the ball. So I'm looking at that, and I think that gives it definitely an edge to him when you have that chemistry with your number one receiver. In just my opinion. Anybody else thoughts on that? No. Absolutely. Absolutely, Drew. Before we go on, here I just want to get your thoughts here on what Corey said. Is it necessary for Ryan to pick a starting quarterback before summer camp, or go before week 1 of the season? So you say maybe wait till after the transfer window closes, going into the summer sessions, to name your starter? Absolutely, absolutely. Everybody knows, yeah, Ethan couldn't be here with us today. So we will actually be catching up with him midweek for our first midweek show, actually. Most likely will be on Wednesday, where he will give us his Big Ten Athlete of the Week, this week. But we do have an exciting announcement, that actually I want Corey to take over here for us. So, Corey, go ahead. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so we can't wait. It's gonna be once we reach 100 subscribers, we will announce more of how to participate in that giveaway. We just appreciate all your guys' love and support to us here at the Big Break Podcast covering your Big Ten sports. Drew, any you want to say something here? I like it. Let's go. Love it, love it. Our Yep. So those games should actually be starting here in about 50, or the afternoon games here Sunday should be starting soon. Everybody just take care. Go Hoosiers, go Sparty, and we'll catch you guys here in the midweek on Wednesday.